Hello YouTube, this is Nate252 here, and I'm here with my friend and fellow enthusiast, Spark Marine.
Hello.
I am just going to talk a little bit about a game that's coming out called Star Citizen. I am really excited for this game, probably more than any other game to date. So if you didn't know, Star Citizen is going to be this massive MMO space simulator, adventure, exploration, trading, dogfighting game. And it is going to be epic and realistic and awesome. It has a single-player campaign in it, which is, from what I understand, is kind of like a training.
And there's going to be these missions, and you're going to have a fighter, and you're going to learn how to basically fly and first-person shoot and all this other stuff. So it's basically if you don't know what you want to do at first, then go into Squadron 42. Yeah. It'll help you decide. It'll get you started in the world. And
cool. So it's like not only a single player campaign, but also kind of helps put you into this potentially overwhelming massive multiplayer game. So it's kind of like a segue almost.
Yeah, that's there to help you.
But also it'll probably be a strong standalone campaign in and of itself too, like for people that like single player campaigns. Cool. Well, so I'm going to go over a few more basic things about it, and then I'm going to go over a bunch of little points about the game that make me really excited and just neat things about it, and we'll just discuss that a little bit. And this gameplay you're seeing here is some actual gameplay that we have that they have out right now, because this game was started on Kickstarter. Do you know how long ago it was that it started on Kickstarter?
Oh, this was Kickstarter back in 2012. I think all the way up almost 2009 it was introduced. And
okay, so yeah, like 5+ years ago, they started this idea, and it went to Kickstarter, raised over $2 million on Kickstarter alone, and at current, it has over $50 million donated to it. I'm pretty sure they're making a lot of money, which is good because that means we're going to get a quality game, hopefully. So for now, they have what you see on the screen right now is this. It's like a beta alpha or whatever. It's just the hangar. They have ships. They have like their combat, how the combat's going to be, but they're obviously going to make it better and everything. So now I'm going to go over just a few of the points that make me really excited about the game. First off, it's going to be nearly endless space. From what I've seen, it's going to be an entire galaxy with multiple solar systems, and when I say multiple, I mean a lot.
It's supposed to be immense. It's supposed to be so big that there is no end. It's supposed to be continually making itself, basically.
Yeah, which brings me to another interesting thing. It's all going to be on one instance, one server, like one world. But like
whatever you do is going to affect all the other players in the game.
For everyone, because it's all in one universe and there's not like different servers.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking, which is pretty crazy that everyone's in one game. And it's large enough that everyone can be in one game. They don't have to have different servers. Although there will be, I did see that there will be, you can have your own servers or whatever if you want to do mods, like if you want to mod the game.
Okay,
but
yeah,
the main game will be shared with everybody, kind of. Next thing is they will always be adding stories and updates of what they called on their Kickstarter micro updates, where as people are playing the game, they're always going to be adding new locations, new quests, new stories, updating the game, and it almost gives it its own life because it's developing, you know.
Yeah, and I always like the instance they're not gonna change something unless it's a legitimate reason. For instance, if it's when they mean player driven, they seriously mean player driven. They're gonna let players basically
create or destroy their own world.
Yeah, in a sense. Obviously, they're gonna let it have lows if that's the case in the economy wise, or they're gonna let it have inflation. Extreme inflation on that side. They're gonna let it be player driven in that sense, but they're not gonna let it, obviously fall.
And then the next thing, which is actually touching on what you just mentioned, is that the universe is affected by the player's decisions. The history and the lore of the entire universe is affected by players and not, the necessarily the creator. And like when you explore, there'll be places that aren't found yet, which because the world's so massive, not everywhere is found. And as you explore, you can find your own solar system, and they've actually said that you can name that solar system after yourself and be like, here's the Nate solar system or whatever, like, because I found it first. And then anytime anyone that game does quests there or whatever, then that's going to be the name of it. That's like a permanent thing. And then I guess you can like sell jump points and stuff too, or
yeah. So there's gonna be that exploring aspect of it. There's people that are just gonna be in the game just to go explore. Okay, there's gonna be people that are gonna be out on the extreme outskirts of space, trying to find new things, trying to find new jump points that'll take you to another universe or another solar system. So they're gonna have ships that are specializing in those aspects that are gonna be able to sustain themselves for long periods of time, and that's where you're gonna have to make that decision if you want to go exploring.
So one thing about the ships is you can't, it's not Minecraft or whatever, you can't like build your own ship from scratch, although you can heavily edit the coloring and the loadout and like different aspects of your ship. But the core ship itself is essentially made by the game developers. One neat thing though that I read is that they will be accepting submissions from community-made ships. So like the community will come together and they'll submit like fan art or whatever designs for ships, and they will be accepting them and adding them to the in-game market.
On that note, they actually have already started something like that. They actually had a competition. It was I can't remember the name of it. They are going to get their ship, whoever won, get their ship made, and it's going to be put into the game.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool aspect, how the owners, the developers of the game, aren't like this secret behind the wall thing. They're like playing the game, and they're their own organization within the game. Like they're the, they like affect the core world. Or Robert Space Industries, for example, like it's the like main supplier of ships or something. Like that's the owner, right? Robert or whatever.
Yeah, that's he named it after himself, Robert Space Industries.
A little bit back on the topic of freedom of like choice of players and stuff. Here's a neat quote that I took from their Kickstarter page. It is a perfectly valid choice to not be a citizen and operate outside the protection of Earth. We think there will be people that gravitate to crime or helping enforce the law or defending the galaxy from alien raiders or just accumulating as much money as possible. We want to include all their social divisions so players will gravitate to one or the other, much like the real world operates. I just love the freedom of this game where it's so much like the real world but in space that we can't necessarily live. And obviously time and everything condensed, so it's fun, where you can do whatever you want. If you want to be a merchant or a pirate or do even jobs you wouldn't normally think of, like a security guard escorting the miners, then you can do that.
Yeah. So me, I have this big group of guys that we're going to be planning on making basically a company, an organization that specifically does security. A lot of people probably at first are going to be like, oh, I need escorts, or they're either going to say, hey, or I don't need an escort, and they're going to get hit, by some pirates or whatever, and they're going to get their cargo stolen, and then
they'll come crawling to you guys.
Yeah, and they're crawling back like, that was a stupid decision. We need to have escorts. And then basically I'm sure there's going to be ratings of organizations. So like, for instance, if this person was really happy with our job, he can rate us like, hey, I would suggest these guys to anyone. They have the best flyers. They escort me to this place, to this place.
Reviews.
Oh yeah, the Amazon reviews or the Kelly Blue Book or whatever.
They put the power in our hands, essentially, the people, instead of you know, the developers or whatever. Another cool thing is that, which I've mentioned briefly, is the fully dynamic economy, where, as you mentioned, if the economy is going down, we're going to have to live through that. If it's a high point, awesome. You know, it's not. We're going to be making our own money. We're going to be. It's going to be as close to a real money system as you can get in a game without actually spending money. Probably one of the most awesome things that I'm looking forward to, which me and you are totally doing, by the way, is multi-crew ships. Now, not only can you, if you have a ship that's large enough to hold multiple people, you can hire like AI or something if you want to, but you know, it costs money to keep them in your service or whatever, that can help you run the ship, because the ship probably runs much more efficiently with the more people if it's fully manned. I'm assuming you could run it by yourself, but you might really be lacking on defenses or navigation or something. So you'll probably need to hire these other personnel to manage these big ships. What's really neat, though, is that you can have your friends take these roles. So you don't have to pay them, but you can probably set up a payment if they're like, I really would rather be doing this, but you're like, I need some help. I'd rather pay you than this computer. So will you help me do this? And you're like, sure. And it's just a fun adventure, getting in a ship with your friend, going exploring the galaxy, maybe shooting some pirates away with him, jumping in a turret. Like there's this ship that you're getting. Is it the Andromeda? What is it?
Yeah, it's the Andromeda class of the constellation. They have sleeping cabins in the constellation. Of 4 sleeping cabins. So you're in this little pod basically, and you can go to sleep. So you'll be able to kind of swap your character, your guy. I've been seeing a lot of these little things in these ships, and your guy's going to need to get some sleep.
Which are essentially save points too, am I correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. While we're on the topic of ships, another thing that's really neat is just how they handle in game. It's going to have the game's going to have the fully simulated physics and full rigid body simulator of all the spaceships. So it's just going to handle well, and it's going to feel legit.
I really like they're trying to put the most physics in this game that I've ever seen in a game. I mean, if you're going this fast and you try to make this tight of a turn, not only are you going to be putting G's on your person, which if you do enough is going to make your person pass out while it's in a sense a fighter.
That's awesome.
And you'll be able to feel the effect that you're not going to immediately be turning left, okay? You're going to feel your ship still moving as you turn. You're going to still feel your ship moving a little bit, and then the thrusters will catch up and change your course.
And we're also talking about over-the-top, epic, awesome things in the game. Graphics. This game is going to look amazing. When you come out of warp will be awesome. I've seen a video or two about warp. Warp will be awesome. When you come out of warp and then there's this, you're right next to a sun, and it's like your alarms are going off because you're gonna burn up. Hot, yeah, and it's just gonna look awesome and everything. And here's some numbers. They are gonna have, I don't know if this means anything to any of you listening, or how many polygons are usually in player models, but the player model of the person alone will have over 100,000 polygons just in the player model. Another neat thing is just no loading. Apparently there won't be loading when you go into a planet or go through warp. I guess the warp will essentially be your loading. They're going to disguise the loading in things, and you're not going to have loading screens.
Yeah, so they're planning on basically streaming everything in. For instance, the whole process of you getting in your fighter and the hangar doors opening for you and you flying out, that's your loading screen. That you're still streaming.
That's an interesting point that I actually haven't thought of, is that I've noticed in videos it takes them a while to get the door open and get in the ship, and it's realistic. It's realistic, but as playing a game, I'd imagine I'd be like, hurry up, get in your ship, you're taking too long. But that's why that makes sense, though, is that's essentially the loading screen, is him getting in his ship. Like that's an interesting point that I just haven't thought of. As it's just slow compared to what we're used to in games. I don't know. You just usually normally press E next to the cockpit window and you're in it all of a sudden. Like you just teleport in. But he actually has to press a button and things unfold, and he climbs up the ladder, and it's realistic. But that being a loading screen is acceptable. Like I'm okay with that because it's real. Now the final thing that I'm gonna mention on this video, which I don't have one, so it won't affect me, although I really want to get one. But so the graphics are going to be amazing. The handling is going to feel real. To top the icing on the cake for immersion is the Oculus Rift. It's going to fully support the Oculus Rift.
Yes.
That is going to be crazy with its amazing graphics, flying through space, warping in at that sun, and you have the Oculus Rift, and you're looking around, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's the whole. There's so much more to talk about, but this game is going to be great because there's so much to it. It has so much to chew on that you're not going to get bored.
You're going to be no-lifing this game.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, Austin. I'd like to do more videos. So if you guys liked hearing about this game, which I'm really excited for, and these are just reasons why I'm excited for it, and there's more, like Spark Marine was saying. But if you want to see more videos of us talking more in depth about certain points, or going over more of this video you see here and more of the ships, there's plenty I want to talk about. I'd love to do more videos. Just give me a like and subscribe and comment if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you guys next time.